moment to shine on Happy Camper Life. We're loving, living, and learning online on Happy Camper Life.
Hey, happy campers. I'm Courtney. Welcome, the host. I am your host of the My Camp podcast. You're joining me live here in the HC, where we just get together and talk about my favorite subject, camp. So I'm really excited to talk camp with these two ladies, Amy Bonnet and Julie Boyd of Camp Kum-Ba-Yah. All right, we all should have some more Kumbaya in our lives. I am so excited to talk to you. Camp Kum-Ba-Yah has such a rich history, and I'm just gonna please introduce yourselves again and tell us about Camp Kum-Ba-Yah.
Absolutely. We're thrilled to be here. I'm Amy Bonnet. I'm the executive director at Camp Kum-Ba-Yah. And we do have a rich history that started back in the 1950s. So our founder was Bev Cosby. And Bev Cosby was a Caucasian pastor. And he had a vision that is still a vision in social justice that actually is still relevant today, and we are trying to continue that legacy. So he wanted to make sure that kids in Lynchburg, Virginia, where we are, had a place to play. And so his family owned property here, and he thought, you know what, I'm going to start a summer day camp. And so that's kind of where it began. So he started building the pools. And back in 1961, when we were going through integration, the Lynchburg city pools were actually closed because they didn't want to integrate. And so there were two African-American church buses that came over here to camp because they were turned away at the city pools. And the story is that Bev Cosby, in his gentle giant way, said, "Come on in, the water's fine." And so that really was a ripple effect for the story that we are. And so from there, of course, it was controversial. We had many white families that pulled out of camp that summer, and some that did stay. And so, you know, that was the basis of everything. And then the really cool thing is the next year in 1962, Martin Luther King Jr. came to Lynchburg to talk with various groups about the American dream and what he saw, how America could, you know, integrate successfully. And so actually there were only two places in Lynchburg that whites and blacks could eat together. And that was the Virginia Baptist Hospital, and it was the Lodge of the Fishermen, which was on the camp's property. So would you know that Martin Luther King Jr. had lunch at the Lodge of the Fishermen in 1962? So, you know, every time I say it, it just gives me chills. You know, it's just like, you know, and, you know, we keep wanting to hear about the story and this vision. And, you know, there's a whole thing about where did he sit? You know, so there are like a million different stories. Where did he sit? And, you know, as much as we want to know the details, I believe it was as it should have been. It was listening and, you know, not a press event, you know, where they really, actually the white members of the church and the community got to listen to Martin Luther King Jr. and serve him. And so that's just really powerful. And so I think that's where we are trying to continue access and inclusion at Camp Kum-Ba-Yah.
Yeah, I love how the values of diversity, access, and inclusion that you build your camp on today can really be pinpointed back to those like first founding moments of camp. You know, where will the children play? And it really, going back and like doing my research on Bev Cosby, you know, they used the words that he was a social justice pioneer. And I thought that was so heavy. Like, wow, that's not a title that they throw around like loosely, to be a social justice pioneer and to be able to bring those ideals into 2022 next summer and still be able to support those for your kids. So since we're talking about values, what are some of your favorite activities that you plan at camp that continue to support those values and ideals?
Well, let's see, the one that first.
Where do you start?
Where we start, right? I think what we really are want to continue is our friendship circle, and so we have Bev started a friendship circle where you cross arms and sing, and it's where everybody comes together. Everybody's a part of the circle, and so we had to kind of change it up this year with this past year with COVID, because we didn't want people holding hands, and we're like, this is what we do, we're going to do the friendship circle, and so Julie Boyd is our programs director, and she and I were thinking, how are we going to do this? So we got pool noodles and cut them up, and then we switched arms, and then it was so colorful. I mean, now the counselors will tell you opposite, I mean, after the kids are beating each other with the pool noodle, right? They're like, do we have to pull these out again? We're like, yes, it's spacing, it's still the friendship circle. So I think that's one that always, even though we're a summer day camp, 8 weeks. And so, the neat thing about our camp is we all meet together, like at the beginning. And then the groups, they have individual campsites in the woods. And so there are only 8 to 10 kids per 2 counselors. So that relationship, that ratio is really important, because just like they did back then, in the 50s, things don't change. Camp is really timeless. And it's about relationships, and it's about those simple joys in life, and being able to have this safe space where, you breathe and stay in the present.
And we, our community comes together to help us offer scholarships to families who might not be able to come to camp otherwise. So we allow as many people as we can to come on the scholarships, because we want to make camp for everyone. Everyone is welcome here.
Now, you mentioned, I'm going to circle back a little bit, the friendship circle, and that there was a song that you sing. Is that correct? There's a song that you sing when they're holding hands or they're holding pool noodles?
Right. I mean, we sing
I should have warned you. You cannot say we sing a song in the HC without singing the song. So, all right, ladies, let's hear it. The friendship circle live. I want to feel the on my heart. I'm holding your hands. Let's hear it.
We're holding hands, and we're also and I will have to say, preface this: we are our own 501c3 nonprofit. We're not a religious camp, but we do sing Kum-Ba-Yah. I mean, how can we not? So. Yeah. So,
but Kum-Ba-Yah just means, as I've learned, come by here. So just come by here. Come by camp. Like we all need some Kum-Ba-Yah in our hearts, right? So, all right, girls, I want to hear it. Let's go. Give me in the vibe.
You're top of me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Kum-Ba-Yah, my Lord. Kum-Ba-Yah. 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 Yay!
Yay! Girls, you did it!
Oh, that's it.
So proud. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. So you guys have so many really cool activities. I know you really bring in the nature. Tell me about mealtime. Your meal times are very interesting. Lunch at Camp Kum-Ba-Yah. Tell me about it.
Yeah. Well, lunch at Camp Kum-Ba-Yah, we try to do at least 3 lunches a week cooked over the fire. So our counselors and our campers, they go to their campsites with their groups, and they learn how to start a fire. They cook the food right there, do all the cooking and cleaning right there at the campsites. And so it's just a really special time, because most of our campers have never experienced anything like that before. So they're learning new skills and tasting food that they've never had before. And it's just it's a good all around fun time.
And your lunches are, you serve a vegetarian lunch too, correct?
We do.
We do.
That is very interesting. Very interesting. So what is the meal at Camp Kum-Ba-Yah that everybody looks forward to the most? That it's like the yay, it's this day.
They have a lot of favorites. I know the bagel pizzas were a big hit this summer. So cheese pizza on a bagel.
Love it. Can't go wrong.
Right. And I think we call it, the famous camp stew, which is vegetable soup. We try to change the menus up about every 2 weeks so that because some of our campers, they can come from a week up to 5 weeks. And so if they're coming repeating, we want a little bit of a change. We did baked potatoes and broccoli and cheese this summer, and that was good. And then Fridays is s'mores day. So of course, what could be better, right? So we always do s'mores on Fridays.
There, you had me. So do you guys, how do you do birthdays at camp? Do you celebrate? Do you do anything fun for birthdays?
Absolutely. So in the mornings, we start off with the big group together. And so if there are any birthdays, then with all our different songs, they're called up on stage and we sing happy birthday.
Amazing. All right, ladies, now is the time in the My Camp podcast where we stop and play a game. And we're playing a game. We don't quite have a name for it yet, but we're kind of calling it like, what's my thing? So I asked you to bring something to the HC today that is just all about your camp. And then kind of in a game of 20 questions, I'm going to try to guess it.
Okay.
Are you ready? Do you have it? You have your thing.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
Is it living or non-living?
Non-living.
Non-living. Do you wear it?
No.
No. Okay. Is it an award?
Sorry. I hadn't thought about that.
No. Okay. Is it a picture?
No.
Does it make you feel warm and fuzzy inside?
It could.
It could. Yeah.
Does it make noise?
Yes.
Can you play it?
No.
Is it an instrument?
No.
All right, girls. Is it, you can't wear it. It's non-living. All right, girls, I give up. What is it?
A megaphone!
Oh my God, so tell me about this megaphone.
Well, so it's really funny. We, of course, we're wearing masks this summer when we were all together. And it's kind of hard to hear, you just didn't everything connect. And then we also rerouted our parents. We brought them a little bit further in the car loop to the back of the property. And, getting everybody's attention at the end of the day is hard. So when you put an awesome counselor behind that megaphone and they're calling names and, they're coming out right with the kids, like you see, and it was that was probably my favorite part of the day. It was just so funny seeing those campers have those relationships with the counselors and everybody knowing their name and just a fun way.
Yeah.
Just fun.
Yeah. And a megaphone definitely has a way of commanding attention.
It does.
So wonderful. Oh my God. Thank you so much for sharing your special camp thing with me today. So tell me a funny but appropriate, one of your favorite funny, appropriate camp stories. I know, Julie, you're newish to camp a year. So what was your story that you went home and you told your husband that night?
Ooh.
Or you too, Amy, anybody?
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking of funny stories.
Yeah,
gosh, I think I think, giving directions and watching the children, like tell them in the morning of, we're going to have this today, or we're going to have this to eat. And some of the children had no idea, what we're going to eat. What? Broccoli? What does that look like? And I think what we got to do is we got to introduce them to a lot of foods they just had not had, or, stuck their nose up at. And then by the end of camp, they're like, oh, well, we ate broccoli and cheese on a baked potato, and we had awesome bagel pizzas, and I know how to make them. And so, you're always laughing. I guess the counselors, we had a couple of counselors this year that we turned around, they had trash bags. And they had used them. They had their regular clothes on, but that, kind of like togas, and just real fun. And they made, we should have the flag. Yeah. They made a yay flag this year. One of the counselors, and the kids loved that. It's, we would make the small flags as just part of camp. It's a craft. And then they made a massive one, and the guys and girls would take turns running around the morning and saying yay, and it'd make all the kids say yay, and that yay flag is in our office. That was our second choice for the thing.
Oh, a yay flag. Oh,
yes.
That is so good. Oh
yes.
My God, girls, this has been so much fun. You have inspired me. Kum-Ba-Yah has inspired me. So because it's so much fun, we're going to play one more camp game before we have our closing ceremony, right? And this is my favorite camp game, and it's called the 7-second challenge. So ladies, I am going to give you 7 seconds to complete a number of challenges. Are you ready?
Ready.
Ready or not?
All right. You have 7 seconds to count from 1 to 10 in a different language. Go.
Okay. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, diez.
Yes. All right. You have 5 seconds to make 5 animal noises. Go.
Quack, moo, bah.
Woof.
Nice. All right. And last one. You have 7 seconds to say the alphabet backwards. Go, or the best you can.
Oh, goodness.
Really? Z? Let me write it out. I need 70 seconds.
I know. I need more seconds.
All right.
Yeah,
A for effort. All right. Amy and Julie, thank you so much for joining me in the HC and talking about Camp Kum-Ba-Yah. I might actually have to make a visit to Camp Kum-Ba-Yah on the way to my camp this summer. So girls, before we close it, you did mention you are a nonprofit 501c3. So what's your ask? How can we find out more about you, Camp Kum-Ba-Yah? And how can we support your programs?
Well, we would love your support. If you go to campkumbayah.org, there is a donate button, and it shows you a couple different opportunities. But I think our ask would be, we would love to send additional kids and families to Camp Kum-Ba-Yah year-round, to camp in the summer, and then also to experience some of our environmental education programs throughout the year. So a gift to send a kid to Camp Kum-Ba-Yah. It's in the drop down. It goes toward our operating funds, and it will let more children experience the woods that we have, these 47 acres that we sit on.
And we didn't even talk about your year-round programming and the amazing nature stuff that you offer to kids year-round. The Kinderwoods program. So please, guys, go to campkumbayah.org, camp, CUMBAYAH.org, and learn more about and read more about the incredible, inspiring history of Camp Kum-Ba-Yah and how they continue to support the goals and values of inclusivity, diversity, and access for all children. So thank you for joining me again. Thank you, Mike, coming to my camp here in the HC. And I look forward to joining you next time. I'll see you later. I'll save a s'more for you.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
Take a moment to shine.